Have you ever felt stuck in your own head, overthinking every step, trying to force the outcome, gripping so tightly to your goals that you're actually choking them? The Stoics warned us, trying to control what's not yours to control is the root of all suffering. But when you let go, something magical happens. You stop creating out of fear and start creating from flow. If you're a creator, a thinker, or just someone trying to build a life with meaning, this video is for you. I'll show you how Stoic surrender isn't about giving up. It's about stepping into your power. Like, subscribe, and let's get into the flow. Have you ever noticed how tightly we grip the steering wheel of our lives, even when we're not the ones driving? We plan every step, forecast every outcome, build 5-year strategies and backup plans for our backup plans. And then, when something goes off script, when the client cancels, the algorithm changes, or the inspiration dries up, we panic, we spiral, we tighten our grip. But what if the grip is the problem? The Stoics believed that control is an illusion. They didn't say to give up. They said to get clear about what's yours to hold and what never was. Epictetus taught that there are only 2 things we control: our thoughts and our actions. That's it. Not results, not outcomes, not other people, not even the timing. Everything else, the external stuff, is what the Stoics called indifference. Not because they don't matter, but because they're not yours to manage. Trying to control what isn't yours creates friction, resistance, anxiety. It's like trying to hold on to a river, and the tighter you squeeze, the less water you can actually keep. If you're a creator, an artist, a builder, a thinker, this hits even harder, because creativity doesn't flow under pressure. It flows when you release, when you trust, when you respond to the moment instead of trying to dominate it. So here's the first truth we're sitting with. Control is not power. Clarity is. Presence is. Trust is. Some things are in our control, and others are not. Epictetus. Modern life trains us to grasp for control like it's the key to safety. Control your schedule. Control your image. Control your outcomes. If you're not managing every variable, it feels like you're falling behind, like you're not trying hard enough. But what if the opposite is true? The Stoics warned us. Trying to control what isn't yours will leave you exhausted, anxious, and bitter. Because here's the truth. Most of the things you think you can control, you can't. The Stoics offered a simple but powerful framework, the dichotomy of control. There are only 2 categories in life, things that are up to us and things that are not. Most of us live as if everything falls into the first category. But if you look closer, the list of things you actually control is short. You control your beliefs, your choices, your actions, your effort, your values, your attention, your response to what happens. That's it. You don't control what other people think. You don't control whether your art goes viral. You don't control the timing of opportunities, or whether someone betrays you, or even if you feel inspired today. You can influence some of these things, but influence is not control, and mistaking one for the other is what leads to burnout, resentment, and fear. If you're a creative person, this confusion becomes even more painful. You want to control how your work is received. You want to control how fast you grow, or whether the algorithm favors you, or if your message lands the way you intended. But when you start creating from that mindset, gripping outcomes instead of trusting the process, your work changes. You stop creating from your center. You begin chasing applause instead of truth, and the art loses its soul. Trying to control what you can't doesn't make you more powerful. It makes you performative. It turns the creator into a puppet, dancing for an outcome that may never come. And even if it does, it won't feel like yours. So here's the practice. Imagine 2 baskets. One says, mine. The other says, "Not mine." Your job is to sort everything in your life into the right one. A negative comment? Not yours. How you respond? Yours. A missed opportunity? Not yours. What you learn from it? Yours. Whether someone loves your work? Not yours. Whether you stayed true to it? Absolutely yours. Letting go of what's not yours isn't weakness. It's power. It's standing in the middle of uncertainty with clarity. It's showing up even when no one claps. It's doing the work because it aligns with who you are, not because it guarantees a result. When you stop pouring energy into things you don't control, you reclaim it for the things you do. And that's when you find your rhythm again. That's when you remember who you are. So ask yourself, what are you gripping right now that isn't yours to hold? And what could you create if you finally let it go? We all do it. We cling to the plan, to the timeline, to the version of life we imagined. We think if we just hold tight enough, push hard enough, we can make reality bend to our will. And it feels like strength, like focus, like ambition. But in truth, it's fear. It's scarcity disguised as strategy. Control gives the illusion of safety. But clinging is what we do when we're afraid to feel uncertain. It's a defense mechanism, a shield, a desperate attempt to escape the unknown. But the more we cling, the more we suffer. You cling to a relationship that's already left you emotionally. You cling to a dream that stopped feeding you years ago. You cling to a routine that's draining the life out of you, because at least it's predictable. You cling to control because somewhere deep down you believe that letting go means losing everything. But what if it's the clinging that's making you lose yourself? Creatively, clinging is a slow death. You start overthinking every idea. You second-guess every instinct. You compare your journey to someone else's highlight reel, and suddenly nothing you do feels good enough. Not the art, not the writing, not the product, not the progress. You become addicted to metrics, views, likes, comments, looking for proof that your work matters. But the more you chase validation, the more your creativity dries up. Because art doesn't grow in a cage. It needs space, stillness, breath. And when you cling, there's no breath left. Only tightness, tension. Your work stops being an offering and starts being a transaction. You're not expressing anymore. You're negotiating. Trying to guess what people want so you can feel safe enough to keep creating. And the irony is, it never works. Because even when you get the result you were clinging to, it doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like survival. You're just waiting for the next thing to go wrong. Waiting for the rug to be pulled again. Waiting to be exposed, abandoned, replaced. The Stoics saw this clearly. They understood that clinging is suffering because it binds your peace to things you don't control. Outcomes, reactions, recognition, timing. And when your happiness is chained to what isn't yours, you will always feel like you're drowning. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most of our pain doesn't come from what happens. It comes from what we fear might happen if we let go. But here's the shift. Letting go is not the same as giving up. Letting go is a choice. It's a return to presence, to effort without attachment, to creation without expectation. The cost of clinging is everything you're trying to protect: your peace, your clarity, your creative fire. You don't need to force the river. You need to stop fighting its current. There's a different kind of strength, one that doesn't grip, but grounds, one that doesn't chase, but chooses, one that doesn't burn out, but burns steady. And the moment you stop clinging, you don't collapse. You expand, you breathe, you realign. You remember who you are, not what you're trying to hold on to. The word surrender makes people flinch. It sounds like failure, like quitting, like weakness. But the Stoics saw it differently. To them, surrender wasn't about giving up. It was about waking up to what you can control and releasing everything else so it doesn't consume you. See, we live in a world that worships force. Push harder, work longer, make it happen. We're taught that if you're not fighting, you're falling behind. But that mindset comes with a hidden cost. It makes you believe that rest is laziness, trust is naivety, and letting go is weakness. So you keep pushing, even when it hurts, even when it burns you out, even when the results never come. But Stoic surrender isn't about becoming passive. It's not about sitting back and hoping the universe saves you. It's about showing up fully, doing the work, living with intention, and then releasing the grip on how it all unfolds. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire. He commanded armies, held the fate of millions, and yet, even he said, "Adapt yourself to the life you've been given, not the life you imagined, not the one you think you deserve, the one you're in, right now." That's surrender. It's not abandoning your dreams. It's refusing to let your dreams become chains. You still show up. You still give your all. But you let go of the need to force, to manipulate, to control the timing or outcome. You act with integrity and allow what comes to come. You stop demanding guarantees from the universe and start participating in the moment with presence and power. This kind of surrender is an act of trust, not blind faith. Deep trust. Trust that you are enough, that you don't have to grip every detail to be worthy, that your value doesn't depend on performance, metrics, or validation, that what is meant for you cannot be stolen, and what isn't meant for you cannot be forced. Surrender isn't weakness. It's the highest form of wisdom. It says, "I will not waste my life trying to control the uncontrollable. I will use my energy for what matters. I will show up. I will create. I will respond. And I will let go." Because letting go doesn't mean you lose. It means you choose. Choose peace. Choose presence. Choose the freedom to create without fear. When was the last time you felt completely present? Not halfway distracted, not anxiously planning the next thing, but fully immersed in what you were doing. So focused that time disappeared, your thoughts got quiet, and something else, something deeper, took over. That's flow. It's not a mystery. It's not a myth. It's a state of being. And it's something the Stoics understood long before neuroscience gave it a name. Modern psychologists describe flow as a peak state, where challenge meets skill, where the mind stops resisting and starts participating, where action feels effortless, even if what you're doing is hard. But the Stoics would have called it something else: alignment, the harmony between intention and action, the quiet power of a person doing what they're meant to do, with their full presence and no attachment to anything beyond that moment. Flow doesn't come when you force it. It comes when you stop interfering. It's what emerges when you stop clinging to control, when you stop trying to predict and perfect everything in advance. Flow is what happens when you surrender, not to chaos, but to clarity, to what's here, right now, unfolding moment by moment. This is why flow feels so rare in modern life, because most of us are never truly here. We're in our heads, in the future, in fear, in control mode. We're doing things not because they light us up, but because we think they'll get us somewhere, faster, safer, richer, better. And so we rush, we calculate, we push. But flow can't be forced. It's invited. It's earned through presence, through trust, through doing the work for the sake of the work, not just for the reward. The Stoics called this being in agreement with nature. Not just the nature outside you, but the nature within you. your gifts, your path, your purpose. When your actions align with your nature, you stop needing to control everything, because you're no longer trying to be something you're not. You stop chasing validation and start expressing truth. You stop grasping for success and start experiencing it moment by moment. This is what the great creatives, athletes, philosophers, and thinkers all touch when they're at their best. It's not hustle, it's not panic, it's not grind, it's presence, it's clarity, it's flow, and it's available to you. Not someday, now. If you're willing to let go of the illusion of control and meet the moment instead. So how do you actually do it? How do you live this? How do you stop gripping so tightly, stop overthinking every move, stop chasing control, and start creating from a place of trust? Creative surrender isn't a one-time decision. It's a practice, a way of being, a shift you commit to, not just in your art, but in your life. It starts with awareness. You have to notice when you're gripping, when your shoulders are tight, when your jaw is clenched, when you're obsessing over metrics or imagining worst-case outcomes. These are the signals. The tension in your body always tells the truth before your mind does. When you catch yourself clinging, pause. Not to shame yourself, but to return. Return to what's yours. Your effort, your values, your voice, your breath. That's your creative home. That's where the flow lives. Then ask yourself, why am I trying to control this? Is it fear? Is it ego? Is it insecurity? Get honest, because you can't release what you refuse to face. Now, breathe and release the outcome. Literally say it if you have to. I let go of what I can't control. Say it again and again until your nervous system believes you. And then return to the work, not to manipulate it into going viral, not to chase applause, but because the work itself is the point. This is where the magic begins. When you show up with presence, when you create because it's who you are, not what you're trying to prove, that's when flow returns. That's when art breathes. That's when life moves through you instead of just around you. But don't get it twisted. Surrender isn't passive. You'll still need structure, still need discipline, but you'll use those things as tools, not cages. You'll stop forcing the process and start partnering with it. So build rituals that ground you. Start your day in stillness, not in a scroll. Create before you consume. Move your body. Limit distractions. Honor your energy. These aren't hacks. They're invitations. Invitations to come back to yourself, to make space for the part of you that already knows what to do once you stop getting in your own way. Let surrender be a habit, not a Hail Mary. Not something you try when you're out of options, but the way you start every creative act. Let go. Come home. Create from there. So much of our suffering comes from trying to control what was never ours to command. The timing, the results, the reactions, the road ahead. But the moment you stop gripping so hard, something shifts. You breathe deeper. You move differently. You remember that peace is not found in domination, but in alignment. And your power? It's not in forcing the world to bend. It's in showing up fully, creating honestly, and trusting the moment you're in. The Stoics didn't teach us to retreat from life. They taught us to meet it with presence, with clarity, with courage. And that includes the courage to surrender, not because you're weak, but because you're done letting fear lead the way. So I'll leave you with this question. What might unfold in your life if you stopped trying to control everything and started flowing with what's already calling you forward? If this message landed for you, if it reminded you of something you forgot you already knew, drop "I trust the flow" in the comments to claim it, to anchor it, and to remind others who need to hear it too. And if you're on this journey of building a life of intention, presence, and creative freedom, make sure you subscribe. We're just getting started.